I'm very, very proud to be called a fifth generation farm. My great-great-grandfather came over from Muskegon, Ireland. We bought the farm on the Homestead Act back in 1848. I took it over as soon as I graduated from high school with my dad. We went into partnership back in 1992. 5 generations ago, the way that was farmed was that we cleared a lot of woods out at the time to be able to get that soil turned over to be able to make it a productive crop. And today, now we're doing completely the opposite. We're doing a no-till system where we do not want to disturb the soil. I'm sure my great-grandfathers would have been like, it was never going to work. And now we're realizing that we don't have to. We can do it into a no-till system, kind of like the way nature was meant to be. Our goal is to always keep it green. And also, the other thing is just the way we plant. We're planting into a green cover crop that is sometimes up to our shoulders with a winter rye that we planted in the fall, and then it grew in the springtime. And so we were able to keep it growing and living root there all the time. And the goal is always to keep armor on the soil so it doesn't wash away on us, and make sure that we can hold our nutrients there. We started out with trying to work into a cover crop and stay our conventional tillage system that we always did. We weren't seeing the results that we needed. We still had sediment loss. Finding out that with the cover crops, it really loosens the soil for us, and that's why we felt we can go into a no-till system by utilizing the cover crops. In our soils here, we've got a very heavy clay soils, so we always felt that no-till planting was not possible here. But when we found out that we can change that soil structure with manure from the cows, and then also using a cover crop into there, we really changed that profile of that soil, and we can plant into that. My goals are to change the stereotype of a dairy farm in Wisconsin. The term factory farms get used a lot, and I really want to show what work the dairy industry does to help control soil erosion, help control sediment loss and nutrient loss that we have onto our soils, and be able to make sure that works. We run 900 acres here on the dairy. I contract another 500 acres from other growers that are nearby. I buy the crops for them, and in return they buy the manure back from me. We've got 900 milk cows. We've got a double 10 Bomatic parlor that we milk, but we're milking 24 hours a day. We've got 12 full-time employees that take care of all the herds work and the milking, and then we custom hire out our cropping, and our planting is they're done by us or somebody else that we hire out as a custom operator. Our main crops that we grow are corn, alfalfa, some soybeans, and some winter wheat for a crop rotation. We're really trying to grow a very high-quality forage for our cows to be able to produce milk. We've been working with cover crops since 2009, but in 2011 we had a major rainfall event that washed a lot of sediment off. It was just after we got a lot of our crop planted, so the soil was loose because we were still doing some conventional tillage at the time. But a lot of it washed away. Then it happened again, a few weeks later in 2011. So we just felt that we needed to change something at that point, because I said I'm never going to let that happen again. I was embarrassed to be a dairy farmer that day. We're supposed to be stewards of the land, and I wasn't a steward of the land that day. At that point, we decided, to make sure that we had every waterway on the dairy was into a grass waterway. We decided to go to a no-till system. We also needed to make sure that it was cost feasible on all these things that we're doing, because we are in it for a profit. We put in a monitoring system. What cover crops hold more nutrients into the soil and less sediment loss? How to put manure on without disturbing the soil. Then grid sampling, what can we do to help reduce the amount of nutrients that we need to put on that soil? We implemented all that, so we made those changes. Our standard practices that we've done in agriculture aren't getting us to where we need to be long term. We're doing this obviously for myself, but more for my kids, so that they have the ability to take over the farm. And the way that we've been doing it, it's not going to be there for them. So my goal is to make sure that we do everything that we possibly can to help control soil erosion, nutrient loss, so we can understand these practices and we don't have to worry about so many rules and regulations that it's going to make it discouraging for any young farmer to be able to come into the industry someday. Some of the things that we do here on our dairy is to try and minimize the smell, for one thing. We treat our manure with some bacteria to help control the odor, because it's very important to us to make sure that we don't have that stinky farm. When we're applying manure on a very healthy soil onto a cover crop, It's be able to absorb into the soil instead of washing off. We're going to be farming for the rest of our life, but we got to hand this off to somebody else. People have to realize that our industry is threatened, if we don't make some changes. I think we've made huge improvements, especially in the last 4 to 5 years here in our area, but we still got a long way to go. And if we don't continue that, we're not going to have another generation to be able to take that over.